Hi, this is Andrew from Wisdom Depot. In this video, I will cover the 5 easy tips to help you write the PMP project description. Before we discuss the PMP application tips, I just want to make you aware that PMI actually simplified the PMP application back in June 2020. And there are 2 major changes. The first change is PMI removed the 4,500 hour or the 7,500 hour requirement depending on if you have a 4-year college degree or not. Therefore, as you fill out each of the project description, you'll no longer have to count the hours, which can be quite tedious. And you simply have to focus on the 3-year or the 5-year requirement, depending on if you have a college degree or not. The second change is the PMI also removed the 550 character limit per project description. So those 500 characters include space or in punctuation, so it could be a struggle for some of the candidates trying to write a long project description. The new format, which I have seen from other candidates, is typically between 200 to 400 words per project description with the new format. With that in mind, let's dive into our first PMP application tips. Because we are no longer tied to the hours, it makes sense to focus on the longest project description first. And an easy way to actually do that is actually to draw out the timeline like this. So on the top, you can lay out the years, the month, and on the left-hand side, you can just list out the projects. As you draw out the timeline, it becomes very easy to tell which project that you should pick for writing your PMP project description. And obviously, you want to pick the longest project first. And using the shorter project description, try to fill out whatever gap that you may have as part of your PMP application. So let's say you're just missing a couple months, so you can use a shorter project description to fill that gap. Or let's say in the longer projects, you might not be doing so much of a project initiation, then you can also use a smaller project to bridge that gap. And also keep in mind that this is not a resume, so it is okay to have gaps within your PMP application. It does not have to be a continuous timeline. All right, let's dive right into the second PMP application tips, which is to review the tips that are provided by PMI. PMI actually have a few resources to help you with your PMP application, including the PMP application checklist and the PMP application tips. You will find all these links in my blog, which I'll include in this video below. So what PMI is looking for in the PMP project description is the following. You need to have a brief 1-sentence project objectives that describe your project. What is your project about? Then this is the main part where you need to include the project methodologies categorized by the domain groups, including initiating, planning, executing, monitoring, and control, and closing. And finally, you want to have outcome statements. It can be very brief, such as the project completed successfully, and that's pretty much sufficient. Some of the PMP candidates also include an optional role in their project description. This could be helpful if your job title is not clear that it is project management related, and the candidate wants to use a role to emphasize that they are serving as a project manager capacity for this particular project. Now let's take a look at tip number 3. You can use the examples from the PMP online application. If you take a closer look at the PMP online application, it actually provides examples that you can use as part of your PMP application. So what you want to do is simply look at those statements, and then if the statement applies to your project, then simply extract that and then use that as part of your PMP project descriptions. You can pause the video here to take a closer look, but I have all this information in my blog, so you can extract them easily from there. All right, let's move on to the next tip, tip number 4. Similarly, PMP also has this information in the exam content outline. So what you can do is take a look at the exam content outline. As you can see, it's already categorized by the domain groups and also by the tags as well. So what you can do is simply extract the statements that also apply to your project, and you can use them to complete your PMP project descriptions. Tip number 5. One of the most common questions that I receive from the PMP candidate is that, can I see a real PMP project description example? And I'm very grateful that there are quite a few PMP candidates that actually provide their examples on my blog. And you can find them on this page here. At the bottom section, there are quite a few examples that you can find. Now, for the bonus tip, tip number 6, you should review the PMP application before you submit it. I know you have spent a lot of effort trying to complete the PMP application and cannot wait just to submit it and get it over with. However, I do recommend that you take a little break and then review your application in full. Because if you make a mistake, what PMI can do, and the only thing that they can do, is to reject your application, and then you have to complete the application all over again. And a few things that you should check here is, well, first of all, you need to go through the full application, and then for each of the project description, making sure that there's an objective, the 5 domain groups, and the outcome statement. It's okay that if you have a project that doesn't cover one of the domains, such as the closing, because the project is still in progress, then you better make sure that you have other projects that has closing domain groups. You also want to make sure that there are no cut and paste errors, and the projects, they are projects and they are not operations. If you are not sure, you can also find more information about project versus operations in my blog. I hope this video is helpful, and I want to wish you the best of luck with your PMP application and PMP exam. If you need more information, feel free to visit my blog where you can find all the tips, the mistakes to avoid, and all the examples there and more. And thank you very much. If you like this video, please give it a like. And if you have any questions, feel free to leave in the comment below. Thank you so much.